Motormouth Jenkins here, welcoming you to our brand new YouTube channel. Hope that you'll come back and see every segment each and every week, and I will share preventative maintenance tips and regularly scheduled maintenance tips for your car. So whether you know a little bit about your car or absolutely nothing, this is the channel just for you, where I share over 35 years of experience as a qualified and licensed service technician with truck and coach, light truck and passenger vehicles. Come back and visit us and tell your friends, and we'll see you each and every week right here in the Car Connection Workshop on YouTube. Well, welcome back to the Car Connection Workshop. Your host, Niall Motormouth Jenkins here. I do talk with my hands, so if they tie them, it sounds like this. We're done. So just forgive me ahead of time. No, I'm not Italian, but my Italian friends, when we want them to be quiet, we just tape their hands together. Yeah, and it's a quiet coffee. So welcome back. If this is your first time joining us here in the Car Connection Workshop, you'll never be the same. So you might want to arrange a little therapy ahead of time. Today, we're working on Mr. Green Jeans, our 1967 C10 fleet-side Chevy pickup truck. Little flash there, showing a little skin, door skin that is. He's from Georgia, and he's one of, I had about 16 vehicles. I know, I hear it. How many do you need? How many can you drive? Well, one at a time. You know, you drive one, go back, get another one. But anyways, he's been tucked away since 1996. And, you know, life gets busy. We had the shop at the time and working lots of hours, and you know, by the time you work a long day, you don't want to work on anything else. But now I streamlined my collection down to like a half a dozen. So you're getting a chance to see some of the vehicles I put away into storage and kept them safe and looked after. Well, now Mr. Green Jeans is out, and we're working on them. We've done rear brakes complete, so shoes, wheel cylinders, hold down kits, emergency brake cables. So everything back there and brake lines is in top drawer condition. We've moved up to the front, and here's where I'm going to share how we look after drum brakes. Now, there's a lot of muscle cars out there with drum brakes and old pickup trucks. Drum brakes, you got to leave some distance between you and the guy in front. They stop. They're not amazing, but they stop, and that's what they were born with. So we're going to leave Mr. Green Jeans drum brakes all the way around for now. At some point, we will convert them to disc brakes in the front, and when we do that, we'll show you some videos on that. So let's jump right into front drum brakes. What does that look like? Well, here we have, I've left one side original, and when you'll see when we get to the next segment, if you stay tuned with us and come back for part 2, you'll see the finished side, which is the driver's side. So what we're looking at here is, let's get something to point with, is right here, this is the shoe material left. Okay? This particular shoe is called the primary shoe. So remember that. This shoe over here is shorter. Do you see that? It's short. They short ship the brake shoe. No, it's meant to be shorter. So this is the secondary shoe. Primary, secondary. Remember that. We're going to come back to it. So here's the hardware. Keep this in mind. This is 1967. And this is still all the original hardware in the springs. And they're only lightly rusted. If you had to reuse everything, you could, including these pins. They're in good shape. That one's a little bent, but I could press that out in the vise and reuse it if I had to. So what I do is I take all this hardware off. This is your star wheel. That's your adjuster. So that adjusts the brake shoes out like a clamshell, like this. They go out in and out like a clamshell. This is your brake adjuster. And the end of this thing, right where my finger is, hits the star wheel, and it should rotate that. But not today. It's stuck and seized. But I can take all these components out and apart, and what I do is I acid bath them. And let me just work with both hands here. Here's what they look like when I'm done. I acid bath them, wash them off, and lay them out on a piece of cardboard, and I just give them, I rebuild them. A little tss, 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 and there you go. But these are in excellent condition. If they're rusted and crusted and really badly corroded, the springs need to be replaced at that point. But these, the springs are nice and tight. There's no gaps, and they're clean. I mean, they're absolutely clean. So these pieces of hardware will all look like this when I'm done. And when I'm finished, I'll have a beautiful, clean, everything's working brake job. Now, we've also replaced wheel cylinders, and in a lot of cases, the wheel cylinders, I'm just going to put the shoes up here so we can see a little bit better. These wheel cylinders are different, and how I mean is, on most wheel cylinders, even today, where my fingers are bolts that hold the wheel cylinder on from the backside, but not on these. You have a tabbed washer here and a great big nut like some of my friends that I hang out with. Don't tell them I said that. But it can be tough. It can be a bit of a bear to get this out. But this being a Georgia truck, man, it came apart really, really nice. So I put new wheel cylinders in on both sides. Remember, I keep reminding you, equal braking all the way around. That's what you've got to come up with, and especially when you're running four-wheel drum brakes. You need all the braking you can get. We got the horsepower, but we need to get it stopped. So we're going to go over to the bench in just a minute. Remember, we talked about primary and secondary. All right. These are the shoes that are going on. And I prefer to use riveted instead of glued on. Bonded, they call them. I just find that the riveted shoes last longer, and you can wear them out without the material coming away from this surface, this steel surface, because the rivets are spaced. I have found in many cases the bonded ones tend to lift. I have seen them lifted on the riveted ones, and yeah, you can get more brake wear out of them, but you know what? That's a lot of brake wear. That's a lot of driving. So here we go. There is the primary shoe. Remember I said be big back. The biggest length shoe goes to the back, towards the back of the vehicle. Smaller surface shoe goes to the front. So when you're at the back wheels doing drum brakes back there, guess where the big shoe goes? The biggest one, B, letter B, B, big, that surface is the biggest, back. That's how I learned from one of my teachers way back when in my first year as an apprentice. How do you remember where that goes? And he said, just always remember, B, big, back, triple B. Whenever you're doing drum brakes, the biggest shoe goes towards the back. All right, so that takes us through that. We got a nice brand new set of shoes to go on there. The drum is machined. The grease seals are in. Here's an old grease seal I saved just to show you where the grease seal actually sits when you place the drum on. It's hard to see when the drum is already on, but it goes right into this surface here at the back. Not up here where you'd think it would go up here. No, the bearing rides on there, and the front bearing rides on here. But the seal goes all the way onto the next land, we call it. So it sits there and it spins on that land surface. Okay, let's go over to the bench, and I want to show you the wheel cylinder and what I look for in that particular case, and make sure that the hydraulic part is going to work. Okay, let me go to my handy dandy toolbox and get something to pry with. It says this is not a pry bar. It is today. So here we go. I popped the seals off, and on the driver's side, it looked definitely like somebody was in there at some point and they did the proverbial nasty, but probably to get them by. They did change a wheel cylinder over there, and it was working, but I saw a little bit of fluid around it. And you know what? Equal braking. I want to start off square one. When I hit that brake pedal or somebody else is driving the truck, I know they hit the brake pedal, it's going to stop. Yeah, you know, when the guy pulls out from the drive-through and, you know, you got to slam on the brakes and you almost spill your coffee. Yeah, you don't want that to happen. In fact, I have a car in here, that's what happened, but it was actually a canteen truck. Hit it right in the side, and it was paid for. The loan was paid the day before. It got sideswiped by a coffee truck. So here's what we got. Great big hole. This isn't normal for wheel cylinder. On most, even today, there'll be 2 bolts that come in from the back, but on this one, as I showed you, it's a great big honking bolt that holds this to the backing plate, and then there is a clamping washer that goes over it, and you clamp it, so you got to torque it to spec, clamp it so that the bolt can't walk out. But in this case, we got one side where the piston actually comes out. There it is. And you say, well, it's not frozen, it's not seized, can't we reuse it? Well, you can see that it's shiny here, where my screwdriver tip is, my pry bar. In here, it's not, it's black. So that is dried brake fluid in there. So it was leaking at some point around the seal, the cup that's in here, the piston. And the other side, I mean, it is stuck, 100% stuck. So you just change them in a pair. And with brakes, I'm going to tell you this straight up. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other side. Whatever you do to the rear, one side, you do to the other side. If you're just doing rear brakes, you do both sides exactly the same. So whatever you do on the right side, you do on the left side. And the same with the front. So whether it's drum or disc brake combination, keep that rule of thumb. Whatever you do to one side, do it to the other side, and you won't have unequal braking, and you'll be in good shape. So when that person does pull out of the drive-through and cuts you off, you'll be able to get stopped and not spill your coffee. All right? Don't forget to like, share, follow, tag, and ring that notification bell for our YouTube channel, Niall Jenkins. Subscribe. It's free. It's free. And we'd love to have you come back and see a number of our other videos. We got a ton of stuff coming your way. And yeah, come back and visit us. So till next time, peace, patience, kindness, happy motoring. Put the coffee on because we're coming to your house.